If you're watching this on the Legacy of Survival channel, be sure to subscribe right now, because what you're about to hear isn't recycled trivia or surface-level storytelling. These are hard-won, rarely discussed winter survival methods used by ordinary families during the Second World War. Families who had no idea whether the next sunrise would bring safety or starvation. As fellow history enthusiasts, we study these details because they show us what real resilience looked like when supply lines collapsed, when heat was scarce, and when winter became an enemy as dangerous as any army. For the next few minutes, I want to walk you through 9 techniques that kept families alive, techniques so effective that many of them still work today if you ever find yourself facing a brutal winter with limited resources. Families used layered microclimates inside the home to trap heat where it mattered most. Across Europe and parts of Asia, winter temperatures plunged below freezing for months. Heating fuel was rationed or destroyed by bombings, leaving households dangerously exposed. Families responded by creating microclimates, small pockets of concentrated warmth, inside a single room, rather than trying to heat the entire home. They hung wool blankets over door frames, tacked rugs to walls, and used heavy curtains not for decoration, but as insulation. In some cases, families built winter corners, a small enclosed spot made from stacked furniture and quilts where everyone slept together to share collective body heat. A modern application of this is simple but effective. If your heater fails or you're trying to conserve fuel during a storm, pick one room, preferably one with minimal windows, and seal it. Cover windows with thick fabric, put rugs or even folded clothes against the base of doors, and sleep close together. This approach has kept people alive for centuries. People mastered low-fuel cooking using retained heat methods that stretched every calorie of wood or coal. Fuel scarcity forced families to rethink how they cooked. One widely used technique involved bringing a pot of food, usually grains, beans or stew, to a boil, then removing it from the fire and placing it inside a box filled with straw, rags or even shredded paper. The insulation kept the pot hot for hours, finishing the cooking process without additional fuel. Known today as thermal cooking or haybox cooking, it allowed families to save precious coal for heating their homes. You can try this during a power outage. Just heat your soup or stew to a rolling boil, then wrap the pot tightly in towels and place it inside a cooler. 6 hours later, it will still be hot and fully cooked, all without using another bit of energy. Communities collected and repurposed every scrap of fabric to create insulating clothing for children. Wartime winters exposed a harsh truth. Children froze first. Parents responded with ingenuity, quilting together old uniforms, curtains, potato sacks, and torn bed linens to produce thick multi-layered garments. What mattered wasn't fashion, but trapped air, the invisible insulator. Even stiff burlap layered with softer cloth added life-saving warmth. You can apply the same logic today by remembering that insulation doesn't require expensive gear. Just layer any available materials, focusing on creating air pockets. If stranded during a winter emergency, newspapers or even leaves wrapped between layers of clothing dramatically increase insulation. As odd as it sounds, moisture inside sealed homes was deadly. Breath boiling pots, wet clothes, drying indoors, all contributed to humidity that later froze on walls and floors, dropping interior temperatures even further. Families countered this by daily moisture management, cracking a window briefly during the warmest part of the day, wiping down frost from interior walls, and rotating stored firewood so it dried faster. Today, if trapped in cold conditions, reducing moisture will help you retain warmth. Ventilate briefly when the sun is highest, keep damp clothes away from sleeping areas, and wipe condensation before it hardens into ice. In Eastern Europe, families use root cellars, half-dug basements, or improvised earthen shelters to escape freezing nights. Earth maintains a stable temperature well above the outside air, so even a thin roof of soil provided life-saving insulation. Modern households can apply a version of this by retreating to basements during extreme cold or storms. If the power goes out, the lowest levels of your home will usually be the warmest and safest. Snow was used not just as a hazard, but as an insulator and windbreak. This method surprises many people. Families trapped in heavy snowstorms sometimes piled snow around the exterior walls of their homes. Snow, despite being cold, has insulating properties and blocks wind, one of winter's deadliest forces. In rural villages, snowbanks intentionally shaped around barns and cabins could raise inside temperatures by several degrees. During intense winter winds today, snow can still be used as a natural insulator for temporary shelters or vehicles, provided ventilation is maintained. Rather than keeping a fire burning all day, a wasteful luxury during war, families heated their living space only during essential periods, like morning routines and when everyone returned in the evening. They wore heavy clothing throughout the day, conserving fuel for those critical windows. This technique remains relevant, you know. If you're struggling with limited firewood or backup fuel, it's wise to heat your environment strategically, not continuously. Neighborhoods created informal agreements where one home served as a warm refuge for children during the coldest hours, while another family provided pooled meals. By concentrating heat and labor, they really minimized waste. Even today, the principle of resource pooling remains powerful. During emergencies, cooperating with neighbors increases efficiency and safety for everyone. Sleeping in freezing temperatures is dangerous because, your body temperature drops naturally at night. WWII families adapted by sleeping with knees tucked, hands protected under layers, and scarves loosely over their mouths to warm incoming air without trapping moisture. This is still effective. In extreme cold, cover your head lightly, keep your core insulated, and avoid breathing directly into blankets to prevent dampness. These 9 methods weren't flashy or heroic. They were quiet, practical acts of survival performed by families determined to outlast one of history's harshest eras. If you want more deep-cut history and survival analysis like this, subscribe to the Legacy of Survival channel and share this video so more people can learn from the past's hard-earned lessons.